So an Asian woman has a question for minorities. Now, I know we don't consider ourselves to be minorities, but just play along for the sake of the conversation. Check it out.
I'm curious, if you're a minority, do you like hanging out in white spaces? My friends and I were debating this over the weekend, and I personally prefer not to vacation or hang out in white spaces. What I mean by this is that I went to the Hamptons recently, did not enjoy myself. I would never go to something like the Kentucky Derby, etc. Meanwhile, my friend who's Malaysian said that, in his words, he likes making people uncomfortable when he shows up in those spaces. For me, the Hamptons was just deeply uncomfortable. When we walked into restaurants, people turned around. I saw a husband whispering to his wife to turn around to look at us. I know it was us too because it was me, my black friend, and my Indian friend, and everyone else in the restaurant was white. It may have been just a bad day, but personally, I try to avoid places like that because I just don't want to be uncomfortable on vacation. My other friend who's Indian likes to show up in those places to be like, look at me, I'm a minority, I'm here. I've made it to the echelon that you think is reserved for white people.
So she basically asked us, how do we feel about being in white spaces? Is that something we want to do or do we avoid, for lack of better words? Well, if you ask Demetra Kaye, I avoid it. I do not like to be in nowhere, especially where there's a lot of them, right? If I look inside anywhere or see something and I see a whole bunch of them, I'm not going to do it. Now, I've had people accuse me, oh, you scared. It's like, no, I'm not scared. I'm just wise, right? Like, why do I need to be around them? And we've been warned, especially by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, do not be in a crowd, especially where they are, right? Try to make yourself gone, get somewhere when you see a bunch of them. And that's some of the best advice that I've heard. Now, I told y'all this story once before, but I'm going to tell y'all again. One time when I was in New Orleans, Louisiana, I was going to go into what they call Jefferson Square. Now, if you've been to New Orleans, they have festivals and things going on all the time. It doesn't matter what time of year it is, right? So I didn't know that it was Jefferson Square at the time or what it actually was until I, had a conversation with a local. So nevertheless, my daughter was like, let's go in there. But my spirit was like, Now, visually, I was like, nah, it's too many of them up in there. I'm not going there. And if you've ever seen Jefferson Square, it's just that. It's a square, right? You got this opening, you can walk in, and inside it's kind of like this lawn type of thing. It's a square where people gather. All right. So I'm like, no, I'm not going in there. Fine. So then as we, went around the city and I met the local, he was like, girl, why are you scared to go in there? I said, again, I'm not scared. I just don't like to be around a lot of them. And then he later told me that, yeah, Jefferson Square is where they did slave trading. I said, see, I knew my spirit wasn't putting up with it. Because again, I thought it was just because them folks was up in there. But yeah, to answer her question, no, I'm not one of those people. I'm going to make them uncomfortable. I'm going to force my blackness on them. No, I don't need to do that. For what? I don't care what they think about me or whether they want to be around me or not, because I really ain't trying to be around them like that. And I know people who think like that. Oh, well, you just got to just stop being uncomfortable. It's not that I'm uncomfortable. I just don't want to, and I guess maybe I could concede that I am uncomfortable to some degree, but it's like I don't have nothing to prove, especially in their restaurants. Y'all by now know how I feel about when, them folks get to acting up in their restaurant. They don't want to serve us. I'm not going to sit up there and say, why you need to serve me because I'm black and you don't want to serve me because I'm black? Nah, put up the Baptist finger. You ain't got to tell me twice, because if you're forced to feed me, what you going to put in my food? So no, I ain't got nothing to prove. I don't need to be around you. And I don't care if you're around me. In fact, I kind of like it that way, but that's just me. So y'all want to answer her question. Are y'all one of them type of people that, just need to be up in white spaces, or are you good? Anyway, y'all let me know what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel.